see it that it would be interesting if we were given a concept of having the possibility of, if everyone was able to stop whatever they're doing, stop working, taking care of other people, what have you, or just able to view in on a type of table talk where you have all these different prominent social groups of different mentalities, and we're sitting in a room with each other, and we're just kind of hashing everything out amongst each other about life, how we're doing in terms of living amongst each other, how the future looks, how the past has shaped us to where we are today, what we seem to want to bring awareness towards for the betterment of ourselves and everyone around us. It would be interesting if we were able to just stop as a entire species. It seems like, we're always working at some area in this world. We're always just going through the meat grinder. It would be interesting if we were able to have some real life talk with real life people about some very important subjects. And you would have many different, groups of people that would have a seat in this conversation, a seat at the table, and they'll get to voice their concern or perspective to why whatever they want to mention is enough of a thing to mention in the first place. You have different areas with like religion, whatever faith that is, having those people there and mentioning why they believe it to be the case that we need to follow their faith for whatever reason. And then you have other areas like political groups, whether, conservative, liberal, libertarian, anarchists, any supremacists in that different political theory, why it is that we need to follow their political ideology and all the benefits that's going to happen with that. And you have other people like environmental advocates, why we need to do these certain things, bring awareness to these certain areas for the benefit of us all in totality. You have vegans and mentioning why we should look to mitigate this, preventing, animal suffering in that realm and whatnot, the benefits that it would have for sentience as a whole in respects like that. All these different groups, feminists, what have you, and people, at the table wanting to confront issues that are having severe consequences in many respects for many things. But it would be interesting if this was the case. It's like a worldwide conversation and you have all these different prominent social groups to see the antinatalist, Efilism, whoever that would be, the message more so than the messenger. But that would be a hell of a experience for that person, because there's only but so many things we can look to say. Everybody has their own particular, niche that they want to bring about. But that person, that mentality, that, persona of an antinatalist, Efilism, we're just sitting there looking amongst everybody in the room and looking at how, wow, we're able to identify all these issues, all these reoccurring problems that we're having to face and we don't necessarily have the answers to. And here we are looking to bring other people to these issues that we're not able to fix for ourselves. And we're trying to make it now that because we have more hands in the pot, that we can hopefully then look to, resolve the issue for the betterment of everybody. But that, again, antinatalist, Efilism are just asking, well, why is it that we're initially putting people in these predisposed sets of having to fix these reoccurring matters? Why is it that we're having to place people in these predicaments to then have to try to get out of it? So it's coming with a higher level of an awareness to asking the why, the infamous why question behind why it is we're doing any of these things to begin with. People can listen to what I'm saying and what I've said in the past videos and come back and mention that I guess I'm just complaining. But we have to cut the bullshit, because this is serious in terms of the questions that are being posed and the thought forms that are being brought into awareness. if you were given the chance, at least I, and I'm sure many others, I would rather not be placed to be in an animal suit. I would rather not be placed to have to be around a bunch of random weirdos, confuse other people that are now racist or sexist, all this. Why? And then there's people that want to say that they chose to come here. How? Why would you want to be around a bunch of lame energy? It's just a bunch of lies and deception and delusion that I see for many respects. It's not good what's going on. Whether or not people want to say they wanted to come into a baby brain, given that we have the decision of placing people to come into a baby brain in a ever reoccurring set of drowning needs, we need to understand and question, why are we placing this problem onto other people? This is so unnecessary. It doesn't hold up to water to look to justify this process. It is very cruel to see it that this is okay. So this would have to be the marking point to the angle of the conversation, of the table talk that would, persist. Because before we look to raise any issue, this is the issue. First, asking and understanding, why are we placing human problems that are not necessary to be placed to people that don't have a say to anything here? It's very strange. It's very strange to be so insecure, to not just live out your own existence, do what you can with those around you, and enjoy things for what they are for you to enjoy, and move along. How are you not able to see the faults, the impurity around you? Look at your own life. You degenerate. You decay. Many times people, procreate when they're young, so that's a bit of the issue as well, but they still double down and make this seem like this is good, but it's not. We know how this works, yet there's a lot of deception, a lot of deceit going on, because this is a pyramid scheme. It's very, very fucked up. It's very messed up. That's why I have respect for people, Shout your truth, say what you gotta say. I love learning a bit more here and there. But this is where it begins. This is where, if you want to get serious, it begins. We can try to do your own research about anything, seek truth in whatever. But when life is just what it is, then let's talk about life and contextualize all of what that is. I just feel like we like to argue about what we can't necessarily verify, but we know what's life. We know what's this. And you shouldn't come back having come to realize what this is and bring up any type of positive connotation. That's very immature. There's many other types of interesting conversations that I can look to more tie this channel into and mention about. I have many different speakers that I've placed before on descriptions of videos in the past, if you were to look into those different types of people and channels. But in terms of what's the most consequential for people for their everyday livelihood, it's this Efilism antinatalist shit, because it's the most irrefutable shit I've ever seen. It's ridiculous. There's so much other stuff that you can quote unquote do research on, but when it comes to just life, you have to put that research in its proper perspective and know it for what it is. It's something that you were placed and you learned about. but in true value, in terms of what it represents, it's not something that's permanent. You're living in an impermanent realm. So what significance really is it going to do to you? Who are you? Why would you want to continue to be you? So there's so much wrong going on in terms of the crime, and we're just trying to more specifically pinpoint the crime going on. If this table talk were to be a thing, the antinatalist Efilis, we would be coming in with major concerns because we're essentially advocates for all, for a certain extent. We're able to see the wrong that's going on in all these different types of livelihoods and all these different types of perspectives. But we're encompassing such issues with asking such questions, pointing out such realities to why we're placing people here in deficient states for no reason. So it's placing all this together, mixing it all up together, and then putting it up to platter by placing those different type of ethical principles into equation, because it's not truthfully considered. For most people, just don't think about why they're placing people to have to come here and die. So for some reason, that's not an initial thought process contemplated for your everyday common person, unfortunately. So it's unfortunate. And so that's why, again, if this were to be a thing for this table talk, it would be very beneficial and impactful, given that there's unfortunate slow ones that, have to get privy to stuff, and rightfully so. We're all busy doing our own things, but it's just the best thing to do in terms of not having to have somebody have to do something. I mean, the concepts alone, we're just glorifying the existence that we have to live out. And we feel like to best glorify it, that you want to place somebody to be here. But that that's so wrong. We know the faults that comes with it. So this topic is it's for anyone to understand. It's just there. It's whether or not you want to admit it. And most just like to be delusional, and that's the life we have to live. A bunch of lies, a bunch of self-deception that you see people running on. And that's unfortunate. It's unfortunate to see a lot of hunger. In whatever sense, it's a problem that's looking to be fixed. So that's a hunger. You're looking to alleviate yourself from an initial state of deprivation. So it's unfortunate, but to bring more awareness to this is to bring awareness to everything, because this encompasses life and it encompasses whatever someone would have to have brought to the table. This is the overarching banner to your problems. So for this mentality, philosophy to be in any form critiqued from that sense it addresses, it's so immature. It's so dishonest, not fair of a take. But